Welcome back. It's time now to apprise you of the top stocks to watch this Monday morning. This is CNBC-TV18's list of top 10 stocks for the day. Our entire team is here, and let's kickstart that with the first stock of the day, and that's the fertilizer after the GST Council meet, which took place on Saturday. Sonal, what were the key takeaways?
It is something very different from what the street had estimated. There was an expectation that there could be a cut in terms of GST rates on fertilizers, but it was just a discussion. And after this, the GST Council has referred the proposal to exempt fertilizer sector from the 5% GST. It has been referred to a group of ministers. Additionally, the committee has also proposed reducing GST rates on nutrients and raw materials. So an actual cut hasn't come by. It is just referred to a group of ministers. And remember, on the back of this possible announcement, the stocks had rallied a lot. We did indicate earlier as well that even if a GST cut comes, it will not be a big benefit for all these fertilizer names. It could not impact their P&L so much. So see some profit booking in the fertilizer names because they had run up already so much ahead of this GST meet.
Take that point entirely, Sonal. Thanks a lot for that. A 30-40% up move is what we saw in a lot of fertilizer stocks. Though there were signs of profit taking on Friday, may continue today as well, as there was no meaningful relief coming in for that space. Let's move on to Vivek now. He joins in with the block deal of the day. Vivek, CarTrade.
Absolutely right. So block deals continue. So today it's the turn of CarTrade to see a very big block deal. The base size of this particular block deal that we're discussing is 10.4% of the total equity with an upsize option of another 2.5%. So who are the sellers? As per the term sheet, Warburg Pincus affiliate, which is Heidel Investment, is looking to sell close to 7%. They have an upside option of another 1.7% total equity. And Temasek Holding affiliate, which is McRitchie Investments, they are likely to sell close to 3.5%, and they have an upsize option of another 0.9%. So what is the total size of the block? 400 crore will be the base size with an upsize option of 100 crore. Floor price is 820 rupees a share, which is 4.3% discount to the last closing that the stock saw. The lock-in period, for further sale of shares is just 75 days. So there could be an overhang as far as further sale of shares is concerned. Why are we saying that? Because Warburg Pincus, that's Heidel Investment, held almost 17.4% stake at the end of March quarter, and Temasek, that is McRitchie Investment, held 16.3% at the end of March quarter. So two large private equity investors, both of them are looking to trim their stake in today's block deal.
Okay, thank you very much for that. CarTrade Tech up 20% this year, up more than 70% in the last 1 year, but still trading well below its issue price, which was close to 1,600 rupees. So the stock has been a bit of a big underperformer. But let's focus now on the pharmaceutical space. Lots of stocks on our radar. Ekta is joining in. But Ekta, first, let's start with Sun Pharma.
Well, yes, Sun Pharma is in focus because they've announced the outcome of the phase 1 trial of a drug under development, which is GL0034, which is utriglutide. Now, that is basically a GLP-1 inhibitor. To understand this better, it basically belongs to the same class of drugs such as Ozempic and Wegovy by Novo Nordisk, as well as Mounjaro and Zepbound by Eli Lilly. Now, GLP-1 drugs, as you know, are used to treat type 2 diabetes as well as obesity. In 2023, the sales for GLP-1 inhibitor drugs were $50 billion, and it's estimated to grow to $100 billion by 2029, though some believe that that's actually an underestimation of the size. The impact for Sun Pharma, the drug is still in very early stages of development. It's just phase 1, which they've conducted. But it gives you an indication in terms of the prospects that they have for their specialty business. You can expect the stock to probably be in the green.
All right. On the other side, Ekta, Cipla, the US FDA, the 483 has come.
We just have news that the US FDA has inspected the Goa facility at this point in time. It was inspected from the 10th to the 21st of June, and they've been issued 6 observations to the Goa plant. Now, remember, this is important because the Goa facility has been under warning letter since Feb of 2020. And remember that the Indore plant has also been under warning letter since November of 2023. So now we don't know what those 6 observations could be. But, topping it up after a warning letter gives you an indication that maybe it could be a tougher road ahead for them to resolve the issues. Now, remember, for Goa, the cancer drug Abrixon is likely to get now pushed out because it's filed from that facility into late FY26. Elara, for example, estimates that they could have made $25 to $30 million from the drug in FY26, but now it's probably going to be pushed out much later, along with more competition, so that opportunity is likely to be diluted.
And finally, Lupin.
Well, Lupin, it's normal course of business. They've received an establishment inspection report for their Somerset facility in New Jersey. They had received a VAI, or a voluntary action indicated status, for the plant. It was inspected from May 7 to May 17. And at that point in time, the USFDA had issued 6 observations, but they've managed it well. And now they've received an EIR with a VAI, which gives it a green signal to basically supply to the US.
All right, let's talk about the financial space now. Abhishek joins in with an update on Ujjivan Small Finance Bank. Abhishek.
Well, Mangalam, they held an analyst or investor day on Friday, and the key takeaways is that stress is increasing in the MFI or microfinance sector. We had highlighted in May that provisions and NPS for the microfinance sector had increased in H2 FY24, and this is continued to be seen that asset quality will deteriorate and credit costs will rise for these players. So they have guided for credit costs to increase to 1.7% from their earlier guidance of 1.4 to 1.5% for FY25. Remember that in FY24, the credit cost was just 1%. Loan growth guidance has also been tapered down to about 20% from 25% that they envisaged earlier for FY25. And ROE target hence has been reduced to 20% for FY25 versus 25% that they had given out earlier. They had also mentioned in the investor or analyst meet that they will apply for a universal banking license in FY25, probably in next 6 to 9 months. Back to you.
Thank you very much for that. Let's now go back to Sonal for more on IGL and the price changes that we've seen there. Sonal.
Well, yes, IGL has gone ahead. They have increased CNG prices by 1 rupee with effect from 22nd June. While it would look like just a 1 rupee hike, remember, just before the elections, there was a price cut of 2.5 rupees per kg. And there was an indication that the regulators want these city gas distribution companies to cap their profit margins and ensure that there's suitable pricing as well. Now, remember, this has come on the back of lower APM allocation and rising global costs as well. Morgan Stanley says they have an overweight rating on the stock, but they say that amid global gas shortages and decreasing APM gas allocation, IGL has hiked CNG prices, but still CNG remains attractive to petrol and diesel, and this hike could support margin normalization, and that's why they're positive on the stock. They remain overweight, but investor confidence on growth should return as the EV policy overhang unwinds, and that would be one major trigger to watch out for going forward.
All right, take that point. So, Sonal, thanks a lot for that. Let's wrap it up with Vivek then. He has a bunch of stocks that he's watching this morning.
Well, that's right. Quite a few stocks with news flow, that's come in post Friday market close. First on our radar is Garden Reach Shipbuilders, a significant order win coming in for this particular company. The company has received an order for construction of delivery of 4 multi-purpose ship vessels. They are of 7,500 DWT, that's deadweight tonnage. The company also has an option to go ahead and build another 4 ships in the near future. This particular deal was signed between the company and a German-based company, CarTrade. Now, the total order size is close to 450 crore, that's almost $54 million. The next stock on the radar is Inox Green. Some positive news are coming in. The board meet has been scheduled on June 26th, and this is to consider a fundraising proposal. And lastly, Prestige Estates Projects. 2 weeks ago, we had indicated that there was a likely chance that the company could go in for a value unlocking as well as a fundraise. So along expected lines, in the board meet that was scheduled on Friday, the company has gone ahead and approved a fundraise via the QIP route up to 5,000 crore rupees. And separately, the company is also looking to unlock value in the hospitality segment, which the name of that particular arm is Prestige Hospitality Ventures. That could be either via primary or secondary issue. Most likely it will be going for the IPO route. That's what our sources indicate to us.
Thank you very much for that. A quick recap then of the top stocks this Monday morning. Stocks with positive news flow are Sun Pharma, Lupin, IGL, Garden Reach Shipbuilders, Inox Green Energy, Prestige Estates. Stocks with negative news flow are Fertilizer companies, CarTrade, Cipla and Ujjivan Small Finance Bank. And I guess we could throw in Delta too, because the street was hopeful of some rationalization in the GST Council on the online gaming route, but I think that's not happened.
Well, we did see a couple of days of positive reaction. Thereafter, on Friday, there was some money taken off the table. So, in any case, had that come by, that would have just been a sentiment positive as well. So, let's see how that pans out too. But Manisha Gupta joins in for a roundup of all things commodities. Manisha, not much changing in the oil space, but the other commodities that you're tracking?
Well, yes, but I'll start with the crude oil prices because I want to tell you that in the last 2 weeks, the prices have seen 7% gains there. And yes, at this point in time, the reason that you're looking at flat moves is because there is strength in US dollar. That seems to be weighing onto the prices. But on the other side, there are various reasons that you still have 85 holding for crude. One is that there are escalating geopolitical tensions in Israel, which is where the troops are advancing further into Gaza. Ukraine attacks on Russian oil facilities continue, and the U.S. Demand seems to be improving because there is a decline in inventories. So is the reason that 85 continues to hold here. The strength in US dollar, the high bond yields, the strong business activity data at a 26-month highs is definitely weighing on other metals. So whether it's about precious metal prices where gold and silver are trading into the negative, it's a similar scenario for the industrial metals also. So whether it is iron ore, which has continued to decline for 4 weeks, or the steel prices, which are trading near 2-month lows, we also are looking at pressure coming in for copper, which is also trading at a 2-month lows. It also is a decline in aluminum, zinc. So basically, many of these metal commodities have opened Asia Monday on a negative note.
Thank you very much for that. Get into a break. On the other side, we'll talk more about the setup this morning. Prakash Diwan will join in with some stock talk. We'll also have Naresh Patel, Executive Chairman and Managing Director at AMI Organics.